Uh, it can be bad in the way that it is bad for us,
Hmm.
and then it can be also good because of because the plants taken carbon dioxide.
Very good, very good. And they take it for photosynthesis, right? Okay, and in that process, plants give off oxygen too, right? And they gives out oxygen also. Right. So in that manner, also the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is being balanced by the plants. Am I visible now? Also, by the way,
Uh,
I'm visible now. Okay. Also, we know that air holds water also, right? So you might have seen that when it's a hot and muggy summer day, गर्मियों के दिनों में, when you see it's a hot, muggy summer day, you have probably heard of the word humidity. You must have heard of the humidity, right? So humidity basically means presence of water in the air, right? So usually we get to see that in the summer season humidity is high, while in winter season humidity is less, right now. And as we go up, air changes, right? Although air feels to be very light, do we feel the atmosphere, the pressure of the air on us? No, right now we don't feel the atmospheric pressure. Why? Because our blood is also exerting, our body is also exerting pressure in the outward direction. See what I'm trying to say? Why we are not feeling the weight of the atmosphere on our body? See, you are standing over here, and there's 3 to 400 kilometer thick layer of atmosphere above us. Why don't we feel the pressure of it? Because our body is also applying an external force. See, your body is also, this is the atmospheric pressure on your body. हमारे body के ऊपर atmospheric pressure apply करता है. Atmospheric pressure acting on our body, while our body also applies pressure on the outward direction like this. So hence the pressure is being balanced, and that's why we don't feel the weight of the atmosphere on ourselves. And as you go up higher, then the air becomes thinner and thinner. Right now, also we know that air is acting as a protective cushion. Air acts as a protective cushion. What do I mean by this? You know that on Earth we are like lucky to have an atmosphere filled with air. Why do we say that? Because the air in our atmosphere acts as insulation, thereby keeping the Earth from getting, thereby not letting the Earth become too hot or too cold. Right now, so it acts as an insulation also. Also know that ozone, which is another type of gas in the air, it is protecting us from the ultraviolet rays present in the sunlight. Also, whenever meteoroids falls into the air, thereby the air in the atmosphere basically burns it. You know about meteoroids, right? Now meteoroids, when they fall towards the earth, they basically burn up in the atmosphere. Why? Because it experiences friction while it enters into the earth's atmosphere, so thereby the friction burns it. So imagine if there were to be no atmosphere, we would be constantly heated by the meteoroids, right? So that is the thing. And there is life in the air also. We know that most of the living things make their homes in soil and in water, but did you know that living organisms can be found in air also? They can be found out hanging in the air also. Did you knew this thing about Abu? Hello.
yes, sir.
So normally, where do we find life?
Land.
On land and under the water as well, or above the water. बट क्या आपको पता है कि एयर में भी कुछ लाइफ फॉर्म्स पाए जाते हैं, एंड दैट आर कॉल्ड एज बायो एरोसोल्स. बायो एरोसोल्स, रिपीट द टर्म. Yes, read it.
Jasola.
Bioaerosols. So these are what? These are tiny microbes. These are very tiny microorganisms that are found to be basically hanging out in the air, right? Although these tiny microorganisms can't fly on their own, but they can travel very long distances with the help of wind or with the help of rain, or even if I were to, if someone were to sneeze, so due to that also these might be carried from one place to another. Getting it, huh? Right? Also, we know that air pollution is also one of the thing. It can ruin the plants. How do we measure the air pollution? By the way, we have an AQI ना, air quality index हमारे पास है, right? Okay, so the lower the AQI of an area, the cleaner will be the air, right? So, for example, if you were to step outside of your home, so you will basically observe that if the AQI is air quality index is over 100, so it's about the same as breathing in exhaust from a car all day. What do I mean to say? If air quality index is 100, different readings होती हैं air quality index की, okay ना? See, if it is between 0 to 50, see, अगर हम एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स की बात करते हैं, इट इज बिटवीन 0 to 50, इट इज कंसीडर टू बी गुड. एयर क्वालिटी क्या है? अच्छी है. ओके. if the if AQI is between 50 to 100, okay, we say it to be okay. ठीक है, it will work, it won't be posing that much of danger. But what if the air quality index is between 100 to 500? So it is suggested to stay inside, to stay indoors. Getting it, Abu, what I'm trying to say? To stay indoors, right now.
Yeah.
So if the air quality index is between 100 to 500, so one should not be spending too much of time outside. Okay. So hope that is clear. So I think we are good to begin with the new chapter today.
Sir,
Acha. Hmm.
uh, in um, in like Dubai,
Mhm.
it is 25.
It's 25.
Yeah.
Whoa, that is too good. If that is 25, so that is a very good AQI index. बहुत ही clean air it means there. Okay now. Good then. Okay, so let's begin with the new chapter today. That is the garbage in and garbage out. That is the chapter. Also, did you consulted with your chapter uh regarding whether the chapters have been omitted from the syllabus? Good chapters, I think, cancel हुए हैं syllabus से. Did you talk to your school teacher regarding this?
Sir, I've said you about the
You have
chap.
studied about this, yes?
No, I have said you about that. They won't be. They,
Okay, okay, okay. I remember the last class. In the last class, you told me regarding a website.
yeah.
Will you please spell it again?
A
A,
Q
just a minute. A Q
A
A
D.
D. Okay, AQAD. That is the website.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I will look into it. Okay, now. So let's begin with the chapter garbage in and garbage out. Basically, in this chapter, we are going to study what basically garbage is. How do we define an material as a garbage, right? Okay, now what are different type of garbages? Garbages can be coming out of our houses, also from the offices, right? It could be garbage coming out from the industries. But what actually garbage is, that we need to know. And then there are what are different type of garbages. Yeah. For example, if you have a broken piece of chair, so thereby it will no longer be useful for you, so thereby it becomes a garbage, right? Also the vegetable peels, do we consume that? Obviously no. Some animals might consume it, but some, after it starts to rot, even the animals might not be consuming it. So now it is unfit for our use, so that also becomes a garbage, right now. So garbage, we say, basically it's a it is basically an item or a material that needs to be discarded, that needs to be thrown away, because they no longer serve any purpose for us, or basically it's of no use for us anymore. Getting it now? So we
Yes.
humans are generating tons of garbage on a daily basis. Tons of garbage are being generated by we humans right now. Tons. Heard of this term? 1 ton is equal to how much? How many kilograms? Ton is a unit of mass, by the way. And in 1 ton, how many kilograms are there? Hello?
1,000.
1,000 kilograms are there. Good. Okay, now, anyways, back to the topic. So the topic we were discussing is about garbages. So on a daily basis, humans are generating tons and tons of garbages, right? So what are the criteria of determining an object as a garbage? There are so many criteria based on which we classify a certain object as garbage, right? So for example, if there's a pungent smell coming out of it, we might say it's garbage, right? No, but that not be the case for every type of garbage, right? All right now. Okay. So let's start by defining what do we mean by the term garbage in itself. Garbage in, garbage out. That is the name of the chapter. Let's begin by defining the term garbage. So we would be saying that it is defined as the materials, okay, that needs to be discarded. Discarded means needs to be thrown away. Thrown away. Okay, why? Because they no longer serve any purpose to us. They no longer serve any purpose. Okay. Hmm. Also, one more general thing to tell me, we have almost completed 90 or 95% of the syllabus. So had you made notes of the chapters?
Yes.
You have? Okay. Also, I have noticed you haven't been turning your camera on in the class. Abu. Why is it so? Earlier you used to turn your camera on in the class.
No, sir, I didn't.
In the in the early days, in the early classes, you used to turn your camera on. The reason why I'm saying this now, because see, if you were to turn your camera on, no, so then it feels like you are sitting in a class here right now, and that basically brings attentiveness in the class. So that's why I uh, time and time again I say this thing in the class. Okay, now. Hmm. Okay, so that is what the definition of the garbage is going to be. Okay. Also, as I told you, like we are generating tons and tons of garbages, right? And we need to dump them properly, right? So for example, we are sweeping the house, shops, we are sweeping other offices, so the dirts are being collected, other waste materials are also being collected. So what do? We basically collect them in a polythene, and normally the habit of the people is either they will be throwing them in the drain, or they will be basically throwing it at the corner of the street, right? No, So, but that is not the proper way to dump the waste, right? So when we do that thing now, so thereby basically what is happening, other peoples will also follow us, other people will also be doing the same thing. So heaps of rubbish material will be um, accumulated at a place. There will be heaps of rubbish material. So they will be spreading dirtiness also, right? But that also becomes a shelter for house flies. It becomes a place for breeding of mosquitoes. Several microorganisms will grow into it, bacteria and whatnot, and some disease carrying organisms will also develop into that heap of waste material, right? So that needs to be uh, dumped in a proper manner, right? Now you might have seen that even there are so many hospitals that are not dumping their garbages in a proper manner. What type of garbages come from the hospital? For example, used bandages, yeah, or for example, there are injection bottles, you have needles, glucose bottles, syringes, yeah, tablet wrappers coming out of the hospitals, okay, cotton soaked with blood, yeah, other type of instruments, tubes, papers, corks, huh? All these are different type of waste coming from the hospitals, okay, that also needs to be dumped in a proper manner, right? Now one question is that are there any way to use the waste? Are we using those waste coming out from different places for some purposes? The answer is
Yes,
yes. Exactly, we are using it. Yeah, there are different ways by which we can be using it. But to use it now, first we have to separate them, right, Abu? So,
yes,
like you might have seen, uh, like people would be throwing waste that decomposes, that can decompose. For example, vegetable peels, right? No, or rotten fruits or rotten breads. We will be throwing that in the green dustbins. You might have seen that at the garbage throwing spot or wherever people are required to throw the garbage. There will be two type of dustbins. One is the
yes.
green dustbin. Yeah.
For us in like in the shopping malls or like that,
Mm-hmm.
uh, there will be like a box. There would be like three sections. One would be paper.
Mm-hmm.
The second would be can, and the third one would be plastic.
Exactly. So because of that, what happens now? Now we are able to segregate them properly. Now would be able to collect them separately so that if it's a recyclable material, if it can be recycled, so thereby we would be having a huge amount of cans will be collected. So now it can be sent to the industry where it will be melted and then it will be recycled to make new cans, right? If we have papers collected in a particular dustbin, so we can use it to make new papers, make refurbished papers, right? Getting it now? So that is the advantage of it. Also, there are some waste, for example, which cannot be reused for biodegradable, for example, vegetable peels or rotting food materials. We can't reuse them in any way, but we can use it to produce other type of useful substances. For example, that can be used to produce manures. Yeah, manures are provided to the crops. Getting it now? So thereby one should make sure that they throw the biodegradable waste and the non-biodegradable waste in separate dustbins. So usually you would be having blue dustbins where you would be throwing plastics or papers or cans like that. And in green dustbins you would be throwing waste materials that will be that will degrade, that will be decomposed by bacteria, flies, worms in the green dustbins, right? So we would be studying about that thing also in the class. Like you'd be having a dustbin basically. It's a dustbin is basically what, a utensil or a space where the waste materials is collected, right? So that's the thing, and people need to apply the 3R concept. Reduce, reuse, and recycle concept. Right now, also, many times what the government will be doing, or what many times people would be doing, they would be using the waste material for landfill. Right now, for filling up a low lying area. Right now, so see, if you might have seen, uh, if there's a low lying area means that, what do you mean by low lying area? Basically an area that is, um, the elevation of that area is lower as compared to other areas, that is called as low lying area. So that can be filled up using the waste materials, right? That is another thing. Also, as I told you, like, waste are biodegradable and non-biodegradable also. So biodegradable waste can be not only used for making manures, but it can be used for making other substances also. See, even the waste excreted by animals, humans, like the feces, urine, that is also a type of waste. And you know that that waste can be used to generate biogas, and that biogas can be used as a fuel in kitchen to cook food, right now. So all these things are there in the chapter, and we will be trying to study all of them in a very comprehensive manner. Also, what, like, the waste coming from the gutter, basically the human waste. In many countries, you might have, if you were to see this videos on YouTube, you'd find that many countries, what they would be doing now, particularly those countries where there's a scarcity of water, so they would be filtering the human waste. They will be processing the human waste, and they will be filtering out water from that. That water goes through several stages of cleaning, and then it is used for drinking. Just imagine that. Yes, Abu. Okay, now. So there are so many interesting things that we would be studying. Okay. Also, one more thing. You said you had made notes of the chapters. Have you?
Yes.
Okay. Do one thing. Today only, make sure you send notes of some of the chapters to the counselor. Make sure you
Sir,
send it. Oh, yes.
I will send now.
You can send now as well.
Sir, wait.
Huh. Good. Just because I want to have a look at how you are making notes. Okay, na. Also, many times there are a few things which I don't write, but I just do tell them verbally in the class. So make sure you note those points also. Okay, na, Abu? Okay. So first, let's start by the sources of the waste, sources of garbage. Hmm. Can you tell me what are the different sources of garbage? One is the domestic source, the waste coming out of our very own homes. So, what kind of waste are coming from our homes? Generally, it could be different type of food remaining items, food remains. It could be vegetable peels, right? It could be vegetable peels. It could be clothing items as well, waste
Degradable,
clothes. Yeah,
degradable item.
degradable items also very good. Degradable items, that will basically comprise of the above two. It will comprise of these food remains, and it will also comprise of this vegetable peels, right? And then there are some non-biodegradable substances also, like the clothing item, or it could be plastic materials as well. Plastic items, broken plastic items that are no longer of our use. So these are generally the domestic waste now, right? So that is the thing. When you say vegetable peels, now here you can add one more. We can be adding fruits also, rotting fruits, right? Rotting fruits, or there are some fruits that have peels in them. So, okay, now fruit skins can also be counted in it. Next type of source from where garbage are coming, it is the industries. Can you think of what type of garbages can be coming out of the industries?
Coal,
Yeah, yeah,
coal,
coal. But coal in particular is not considered as a waste. Coal is actually a fuel, no? It's a useful material. There are so many, like we could be, we might see that industries would be releasing wastewater right now. They would be releasing toxic water, basically toxic chemicals. So via the drainage pipelines, they would be releasing toxic chemicals into the water body. So that is one of the thing coming from it. Also, when we talk about industries now, there is a wide variety of industries. There are different type of industries. For example, you have food processing industries. They are there. You have textile industries. You have a cement factory, right? Abu? Cement factories there. There are so many chemical plants are there. Industries that manufactures different type of chemicals. There are power plants also. So the waste coming out of these industries will be specific in nature. Yeah, the waste coming out from a cement industry or a food processing industry will be different. Right now, obviously, they will be different. Getting it now. So that is the thing which we will be see here. We can see. So we can collectively count different type of waste coming out of the industries. Can you think of some other waste apart from this? What other type of waste are coming? Yes, think of some other wastes. Yes, Abu.
scrap,
Which one?
scrap,
We can be counting that also. Scrap
scrap.
materials,
So,
scraps,
we-
scraps, no?
yeah, what
Scraps.
can,
Next one you told.
no, I'm saying the scrap of like what they're making.
Scraps. We can count that also. Also, in the like in the iron and steel industries, they produces lots of ashes, right? No. Also, they would be producing lots of dusts also, like in the cement industry, right? Also, like they would be industries that will be producing sludge also, sludge like the mud, right? Okay, think of some other examples also, like sludge is there, dust, ashes, scraps, toxic chemicals will be coming out from it. Okay, now what type of waste could be coming out of the food industries? Yeah, what type of waste could be coming out of a food industry? It could be uh, chemical preservatives that are added in the processing of food, right? Now, so we can add chemical preservatives. Okay, no? So these are the general kind of waste which are basically coming from the industries. Also, we shouldn't forget about some other examples like oils, right now. Some type of oils are also being released by different type of industries. Getting it now. So these are basically the general examples of different type of waste that are coming out of the industries, and they are very hazardous waste. All these waste are hazardous in nature, that are polluting the environment. Hazardous waste. Okay, think of other areas from where waste are being released into the environment apart from domestic and then industries. Talking
What's
about
that?
like apart from domestic, that is our household, and from the industries, which is another source from where you see that majority of the garbages are being released into the environment. Yeah, like talking about agriculture, huh? One would think like what kind of waste would be coming out from the agriculture, but that can also be releasing. Yes.
Nothing.
uh Like you would be seeing that first we need to see that what are the inputs required in the field of agriculture. What inputs are required? For example, fertilizers are required, pesticides are required, right now. Medicines
Yeah.
are some type of medicines are required for the plants, right? So yes, agricultural wastes. So the examples of the agricultural waste would be what if the medicines that are to be given to the plants if they are expired. So those expired medicines are also to be counted here, right? We could be counting fertilizers and pesticides containers also. The containers in which fertilizers and pesticides are being stored. So containers of fertilizers and pesticides. So why do we use pesticides? What is the purpose of pesticides, by the way? Yes.
Like um,
Hmm.
to give it to the plant. It's like helpful to the plants. It's like a mineral to the plant.
It is giving.
Uh, it is like a mineral to the plant.
No, no. When you are providing minerals to the plants, so thereby you are defining about fertilizers. See, plants also do get infected with different type of diseases. For example, consider the example of wheat plant. Wheat plant में wheat rust होता है. Wheat rust. WHEAT. Wheat rust. So in the wheat plant, there's a disease called wheat rust. It's caused by a fungus. Okay. So basically, the plants could be damaged by funguses. By insects can cause harm to the plants. Right, a funguses
But
can cause harm. Yeah.
for the tomato plant, like there on the leaf, there's some white thing there.
On the tomato plant,
Yeah,
on the leaves, you'd be seeing some white things growing on the leaves, or is there something else?
it's like it's like something taking over. Like there won't be like something green. There would be like a line or something like that. That is
Oh, okay, okay.
white.
I understood that. I understood what you're trying to say. Yeah, even I have seen that. Okay, now, on the tomato leaves, you'd see that there's some whitish thing that grows on the tomato leaves. These are actually pests. We call them as pests. Okay, now. So there's a disease caused on the tomato that is actually the pest actually, and pest could be anything. Pest could be anything. It could be an insect. It could be a fungus. Right now, so those are basically considered as different type of pests. So the reason why we would be using this thing now, this pesticide, is to kill those pests. So that is the purpose of it. Okay, na? So that is the purpose why we
Sir,
would be using that. Yes.
Sir, today my father took the sir the the calcium sir the calcium medicine.
Haha, I know about
Uh,
that.
yeah, he took it and he put that in water, and then uh, he gave that water to the sir the tomato plant.
Okay, okay. I also the reason is see, basically that medicine is consisting of calcium, and calcium is one of the nutrients required by the plants. So yeah, in that form also it can be supplied to the plant. In fact, that is a very innovative thing I'm hearing of. So yeah, that can be done in fact. Okay now. Hmm, right. Okay then. So where was I at? I was talking about pesticides over here, right? So pesticides are basically what? These are substances that are given to the plants in order to control the growth of pests, right? So there will be different type of pesticides you would be using. For example, if the plant is infected by a fungus, we would be using fungicides, right? If the plants are infected with the insects, we would be using insecticides. So talking about pesticides, these are substances that are spread onto the plants in order to control the growth of the pest, basically kill the pests, right? It could be insects also. It could be funguses also. In fact, it could be unwanted plants also. Like many times, along with the main crop, along with the main plant, some unwanted plants will also be growing that we call as weeds. WEEDS, right now. So you you have not even planted that unwanted plant, but it grows on its own. So it has to be killed. Why? Because it is taking up nutrients from the main plant as well, right now. So talking about pesticides around the world now, there are thousands of different pesticides which are being used around the world, right? Also, we would be using pesticides in public health also, apart from protecting our plants, it is used in public health also. For example, talking about mosquitoes, mosquitoes are responsible for different type of diseases. For example, it spreads dengue, it
Malaria.
spreads malaria, very good, right now. So they were, in order to kill those disease carriers, we can be using pesticides to kill them also, right now. So that is what pesticides are. So hope that is clear to you. And there are different type of pesticides. If someone asks to give some examples, you would be giving examples of insecticides. You would be giving examples of fungicides. Okay, now these two are some of the common pesticides which are used. So hope that is clear to you. If there's any question, please do let me know. So far, if there's any question.
So what is the fourth one?
Full form of what?
What is the fourth one? Source of garbage.
Huh,
Uh,
that we haven't completed yet. Okay, now that is left to be discussed. We'll be discussing that also. Okay, now.
yeah.
So talking about the fourth source of garbages that are being released into the environment, it is the commercial area. Commercial area means what? Yes.
Sir, about the agriculture, like, sir, how does the containers of fertilizers and pesticides like uh, a source
Mhm.
of
Garbage. Exactly. See, look how it is a garbage. See, if you were to talk about the plastic, the container here, container could be either a metallic container, or it can be a plastic container also. The reason why we have classified them as a waste is because, see, if I were to look at them from the perspective, when you were to look at them in this perspective, that they has been considered as waste, but thing is that they are actually considered as non-hazardous solid waste. You can see the plastic containers, talking about whether they are hazardous in nature, they are not that much hazardous. Hazardous means something that can cause serious harm to the nature. So the thing is that they need to be properly recycled. So if are to be left open here and there, so what might happen? Rainwater or water might get collected into that, and on that water, mosquitoes would be breeding, and then thereby they would be spreading disease as well. Getting it now? So
Sir,
basically, what the farmers, yeah, yes, Abu.
sir, because like because for us, whenever we like buy the
Mhm.
container, like the fertilizers and pesticides, it will be degradable. Like it would be made up of wood.
It would be made up of wood.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Huh. In fact, that is a great thing right now, because as compared to
Because
using.
sir,
Mhm.
yeah, for like whenever we buy it, like we get it in a like wood and all.
Exactly, because if you were to see that wood as compared to plastics or metals, it's not a source of pollution, obviously, right? In
Yeah.
fact, several bacteria don't breed on wood; they would be breeding on plastics or other materials as well, right? Now, thereby we promote that one should be using paper bags, right? Now, polythene bags should be replaced with uh, paper bags wherever possible, right? Also the reason is that once someone has used the fertilizers and pesticides, so their containers should be emptied properly, they should be rinsed with water, right now. So then only it will be considered as a non-hazardous solid waste. But if they were not to be rinsed properly, if there are still chemicals in it, so they were what might happen? It will be then a hazardous waste. Why? Because the chemicals like the fertilizers or the pesticides found sticking that are sticking to the inner walls of the container. What if water collects in that? What if a crow? What if a bird drinks that water? That will be dangerous for the health of the bird, right? So those are the things which we consider while we consider them as a waste. So hope it is clear to you, right? Okay, moving on. Next thing I did told you, like,
Yeah.
there are commercial sources from where garbages are being dumped. What? For example, consider the like there are so many commercial enterprises. For example, take example of McDonald, take example of KFCs, yeah, take example of big stores like you have so many big stores, big malls. So they are also releasing different type of garbages, right now. For example, if big stores would be dumping plastic cutlery, they would be for example, big restaurants, they would be um, releasing food items, they would be throwing food items, right now,
Oh,
food packets, yeah, or so many textile shops would be throwing unused textiles, unused clothes there, here and there, right
yes,
now.
sir. Louis.
Yes, Louis Vuitton, exactly. So the fourth one is the commercial sources of waste, commercial waste. So here they would be very big shopping malls will be counted in it. So many restaurants will be counted in it. Restaurants will be counted in it. So these things we can count in it. So these are basically commercial enterprises, right? Big companies that are doing business. So we call them as commercial enterprises. So they would also be secreting different type of waste. Okay, now for example, they would be secreting food cans. For example, restaurants would be dumping that. They would be throwing unused foods items, right? Malls would be throwing out unused clothes or clothes that are too old, right? So these are the different types of waste we have. Hope that is clear. If there's any question in it, please do let me know. Yes, any question?
No, sir.
All right. So also the different type of waste which we are studying, not all of them are classified as useless. Yeah. Normally we know that a waste is a useless thing, right? That is how we define it. That is how we define the waste. But not all of the waste are useless. Why? Because many waste can be processed and can be reused or recycled. Right now. So whenever the municipality is taking away the garbage, so normally what they would be doing away from the densely populated area, they would be taking it out in the suburbs, in the low-lying areas, in an open area which is known as a landfill. Huh? In the landfill. So thereby all the garbages collected from the city will be dumped there in the landfill. Now, why
Sir,
the help? Yes.
uh, I went to the desert area at that time. I saw the the SDGs, right?
SDG.
Yeah,
So, SDG, will you please expand it? What is the full form of it? SDG, you are saying. SDG basically translates to Sustainable Development Goals. There could be different,
yeah,
it could be a different thing as well. Are you talking about sustainable development?
yeah.
Okay, okay. SDG, Sustainable Development Goal is there. Yeah. Okay. Sustainable Development Goals, and thereby there are total 17 Sustainable Development Goals worldwide. There are 17 Sustainable Development Goals. There are so many things. So basically, it would be one of the targets of the Sustainable Development Goals is to reduce pollution as well, right now, and thereby they consider proper management of the waste. Getting it now? Okay, so that thing I think you are talking about. Okay, so we were talking about this thing that not all the waste are considered as useless. Some of them are actually being taken away, being recycled, and then it is being used, right? So what the cranes would be doing now, the cranes you might have seen, they would be separating the waste. Yeah, there are different type of waste. So once they are taken by the municipality, once they are taken by the municipality to a low lying land, so they, what will happen, all the waste would be collected here, right? Now what type of waste are it? There is plastic in it, right? There are different metals in it. In metals there would be iron also, right now, and there are polythenes in it. There are some clothes in it as well. Getting it now? And there will be some bio wastes as well. Bio waste as well. So once the garbages are spread over the landfill, now using with the help of the cranes, they would be separating out the different materials out of it. For example, they would be using electromagnets. You heard of electromagnets or not?
No,
Okay. See, what would they would be doing now? They would be taking help of a crane. So crane basically it's like this. So basically they would be taking help of the cranes now. And in the cranes, okay, now at the in the cranes, they would be attaching magnets. They would be taking help of magnets. So this is a magnet here. And it's not a normal magnet, it's an electromagnet actually. A magnet formed due to electricity. इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के हेल्प से हमने एक मैग्नेट क्रिएट किया है. So what is the use of magnet in in this landfill. Yes, to separate the
Yes,
iron
sir.
scraps,
Yeah.
right now. Iron, apart from iron, cobalt is also separated. Apart from, say, if there is nickel, nickel is also separated. ये magnetic materials होते हैं. So with the help of the electromagnet, you can separate them out, and then later on it will be melted to form another utensils, another items. Getting it now? So all the waste here can be categorized into two groups. One is the biodegradable waste, another one is the non-biodegradable waste. Also in clothes, also some clothes are synthetic, some clothes are natural, right now. So there also we will be doing classification, but broad classification would be biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste. And non-biodegradable waste. Okay, there we'll be studying about what is the significance of these two type of waste, how we can utilize it. In fact, you would be surprised to know that nowadays these waste now in they are being used to produce electricity also. They are basically burnt, and then thereby further they are used to produce electricity. Yeah. So we humans have developed different ways to even utilize the waste for our use right now. Okay, so from here we will be continuing. We will continue in the next class. If there's any question so far, please to let me know. Yes. Yes,
No,
Abu,
sir.
any question? Okay, good. Also, the question you asked about tomato now. Look, what happens now? Even I have observed that on the tomato plant. So there could be multiple reasons for it. So if, for example, the sunlight is fluctuating, yeah, if the air circulation is not good, or if amount of humidity required in the air is not proper, so due to that also, tomato plant can develop powdery mildews. We call that as powdery mildews. Okay, now. So it will be appearing on tomato due to various reasons, right? So when you see this on the plant, now it will not be killing the plant, but you can treat it. You can treat it. Getting it now? Okay then. So hope that is clear to you. If there are any other questions, please do let me know. Any questions so far?
No, sir. No.
Okay then. So that's it for today. We'll be meeting in the next class. And also make sure, have you sent your notes to the counselor or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. And I've heard like if you were not to pour neem oil, that can also cure, I think. Heard of neem oil? Neem oil, if it is an organic fungicide, ये organic fungicide है. Okay, no? So that can also be used. Okay. Hmm. Also, one more thing. You see this powdery mildews now. If you were to touch that thing, you would observe that they are flies actually. वो क्या है ना, flies हैं actually. They are white flies. Looked at the thing closely, you would see that they are actually white flies. Okay, now. Okay, so I hope that's clear. We will be meeting in next class then. Allah Hafiz.
Allah.